This shocks the old man. I say this without any hesitation, though I further explain that I am not only talking about now, but also in the future. I won't try to help others in the foreseeable future, as it has been very hard for me even to survive in this world and say sorry I don't have any lofty ideals. This was within the old man's expectations though. It's so hard to convince people to believe in our mission. It isn't his fault to think so, as life isn't easy after all. Though the old man says this is fine, he can't take me as a disciple. Though he can still teach me his sword technique, and Mr. Lee guesses the only thing he can do would be to influence me one step at a time. As it cuts to the next day, the old man wonders if Xiaoyu accepts him in her heart as she is now asking for help. So he asks if she wants to be someone who could help others in the future and gets the usual cold Xiaoyu response, but he insists. Look, I just helped you fix the light bulb, though she explains that the house has an aging circuit, and what if Lu Shu got an electric shock from changing it, and that you are too old to be cocky at changing a light bulb. Though in relation, he asks if she has finished her math homework and he will have a look at it once it's done. Though he gets handed the homework after a few hours, and honestly, it is just chicken scratch, and he doesn't know how to grade it without hurting her feelings. Though as he is taking forever, Xiaoyu taunts him asking, "Didn't you say that you know everything and what is taking you so long in solving this one doubts? The old man can solve it?" He just shouts, "Are you kidding me? Of course I know, as you were not born when I was solving a math problem at school." And Zio, unamused, asks how old he is. So he takes a proud stance and announces he is 81 years old. But Zio insists that if she is 10 years old now, and if he learned math before she was born, then he learned match. When he would have learned match when he was 71 years old? Have you been learning it for 60 years? Zhao Yu thinks this old man thinks she can be her teacher that easily, but the old man mentally notes he is quite experienced and has lived through it all. Though someone decides to break their staring contest by trying to introduce himself, but gets cut off by Sayo, asking so said that, but the person intruding on their conversation insists he knows how to figure this math problem out. Though the old man's face turns sour, he asks, "Am I not welcome here? Is that so, Mr. Lee?" The old man asks his new student Xiao Yu if she knows what's after the saying, "When you have friends coming from afar." She points and vents her anger and says, "Kill them no matter how far away they are." However, this severely irritates the old man, and I suddenly get a bunch of negative emotions while at school. I wonder why his name is appearing and why he is having negative emotions, and if anything happened to Xiao Yu. So I interrupted the teacher and told him I needed to leave for a moment. He asks, "What's wrong?" But I joke and say someone logged into my Twitter from another account and tell him I will see him around, and then I sprint home and barge into seeing the old man and in person from the fair, staring at each other. This guy mystically says, "That is right. I am the person that you thought I'd be." But I told him I knew that, as he is the guy that helps fix our light bulbs. She was unhappy and sent me some sweet negative emotions. The old man explains among all the dragnets and snares, this man is the only dragnet with any proper physique, and he is Mr. Shi Shuijin. Though Merlot Shi fixes his glasses and thanks him for the introduction, and that the old man is the founder of the foundation, and everyone respects him, even though his physique foundation is ruined. Personally, Shai respects him a lot, he says as he smirks. The old man explains that Mr. Shai has a thorough knowledge of Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism, and created the Bai thoughtful meditation to set up the vital class. The founder generation will surpass the older. This shocks me though. Mr. Shi continues the points and explains that not only was Mr. Lee the descendant of the Sword Pavilion, but has also devoted himself to his position for a long time, and he is the model we look up to. Though I look at Mr. Shi, I remember that the cultiso, the cultivation method taught in the vital passivation method, taught in the vital class, was created by this man. However, I suddenly think back to 2 days ago when the female head teacher was teaching us the first chapter of Bai thoughtful meditation, or rather using her power to pass the knowledge to us. She then explains, this is the first chapter of the Bai thoughtful meditation, the chapter on the spiritual body, and she will give us the next chapter once we finish and understand the first one. She further explains to just take our time, as our adaptation and cultivation of the chapter won't be the same based on our different physiques, and notes that cultivation requires great willpower, and we need to work hard afterward. However, while practicing the first chapter, I suddenly feel a clash with my star map and the Bai thoughtful cultivation. I try to calm down the corpse dagger inside me by telling it we will be doomed if you just break that. So it appears to me that I can't cultivate on both at the same time, as the galaxy is too bossy, so other techniques are useless to me. Though back to the present, I think it will feel awkward if Shi Suijin knows about my technique. Though Mr. Shi mentions that the old man hasn't introduced us, and Mr. Li this is. He explains it as his neighbor next door, a body with a level F physique, and he's a student in your vital class. I mentioned I am here to pick up my little sister and I'll leave you some privacy for your business, and I thank Grandpa L. Though Mr. Shi wonders if they are just neighbors. However, the old man exhales a deep breath and tells Shi to just tell him why you're here. He explains there are signs of reappearances of remains in our country, and remains are integral parts of our country, and I sincerely hope that the Foundation can stay out of it when they reappear. Even going as far as mentioning, sure, you can kill me now and here, and no one can stop you. Though the old man waves off the notion and asks, why would I kill you here? Okay, I got your point and you can leave. Though before leaving, Mr. Shi thanks Mr. Li and mentions they will always save the 9th vacancy of the dragnets for the old man. Though he states he is just not as ambitious as an old man, he is old enough to think about it, and also mentions he thinks he can help when he can't figure out math problems. However, he gets smacked by the old man and told to go away as it seems he has hit a nerve. I start cooking dinner, but Xiao Yu wonders how could that old man look down on you earlier. He couldn't solve that math problem himself. She also mentions I am the best cook ever, and she will tell him the next time they meet. I mock her a bit by repeating what she said, but then I explain that the old man, Mr. Li, is always surrounded by big names and keeping a low key would be the best protection for me. She says she will be polite to him from now on, though I explain she doesn't need to be too polite or else she will seem like a stranger. I think to myself now that can also get the negative feelings caused by Xiao Yu. I won't get so many negative feelings if she's too polite. While I'm in the middle of my thoughts, Grandpa Li or the old man knocks on the door and says, he solved the math problem for you, Xiao Yu. So I hesitantly open the door and I try to apologize for earlier, but he hands me the finished paper. He asks why we're so nervous earlier. You're just a level F student. Then he shows a grin and mentions, perhaps you're not a level F, and shows 2 vials. Explains this is sodium-potassium alloy, and it can be used to test your physique. I bet you have learned it in the vital class already. I explained that I am a level F and I have been tested, so there is no need to. Though the old man shrugs it off and says to tell me the results tomorrow morning. Though after the old man leaves, Zhao turns to me and asks if we should tell him the truth. Though I say I'll get tested first, and as it crackles on the ground it shines like a galaxy of stars, and she asks what that means. I mentioned that I may have gone off the scale. Cuts to me selling tofu at school the next day. A man walking down the street asks if I still have any smelly tofu left. I tell him yes, I have some as I open the box and he starts asking for some. I cut him off, but I point out that it's not for sale with a cruel smile. Though he gives me 300 negative feelings and grunts, what's wrong with you? Why do you show me if it's not for sale? Though resting on the cart, I insist I need more and more negative feelings to cultivate. However, I think how lucky it is now that I also get negative feelings caused by Zhao Yu. I silently apologize to Grandpa Li, but I need him to put up with her for just a while longer. Though he senses me talking about him, he sneezes, but Xiao says he needs to take some pills if he is sick. Though Mr. Li asks, what's the result of your test last night? And what about your brothers? However, she insists that he already asked Lu Shu this morning. He is level F, while I'm a little better than him. Though the old man doesn't believe them and instead ponders their physiques are far from mediocrity, they still don't trust me. Cuts back to school where everyone is congratulating Liu Li. Though I asked Xiang, I heard their screams from downstairs. Why are they so excited? And why is he holding some chives? However, without even any reaction, he responds with the chives that he holds contain superpower, which can help your cultivation if you eat them. He mentions he made it to the next level last night, and now he's distributing chives to celebrate. Though eager this shocks me, I remark he made it to the next level so fast. Didn't they say that it'll cost 9 days for a level B to break through? Though Xiang explains that his family bought him a piece of blessed land and it accelerated his cultivation, but insists that blessed land was a little creepy and he guesses that Liu Li will suffer later. Though eager, I lean in and ask what a blessed land is. Though suddenly, he enters lecturing Shu mode and puts on his glasses. He explains that the blessed land is the place that can send out superpowers and it can not only affect people's cultivation, but also affect animals and plants. The blessed lands have different levels. He further explains that the one Liu Li's family bought has an impure superpower, so it will harm his health if he continues cultivating that. Though I remark, I see. I guess you'll soon break through as well, right? Aren't you a level B as well? Though he tosses his glasses away and with a smirk mentions, he broke through 2 days ago as the blessed land he owns is a little bit superior. Though I think to myself that owning a superior blessed land and knowing everything about dragnets and snares, he is not a common person. Though other classmates are begging Liu Li to please show them what it is like when you break through. He lifts his classmate's arm, but it is thinner than a stick figure, but he explains that it's not obvious in the appearance. How about someone challenges me in an arm wrestling match? I walk up and ask if I can volunteer, please. Though he remarks, of course I can, as he is looking down on me. Though as we lock hands, he thinks you always embarrass me in public, and I'll make you cry today. So he uses his powers and has a yellowish aura, but with a smirk. However, I slam his hand down without hardly any effort as well. However, this shocks him and the whole class. He gives me a whopping 999 negative emotions. Though I apologize and say sorry, I have a stronger left hand, so let's do the right apologize this time. But the same result happens. Though I announce I feel like I'm filled with strength, did I awaken my strength? However, Liu keeps pouring negative emotions on me. I decide to leave him one final burn and thank him for doing an arm wrestle with me and thank him for helping me get awakened. Though now I think I can convince others that I can get awakened naturally. Though the whole class swarms Liu Li beginning for them for a match so they can awaken. Though Xiang is very skeptical and asks if I got awakened. Though I explained to him that I didn't know why I felt a sudden strength bursting out of my body and then I awakened. However, he reminds me to remember to tell Ms. Cynthia that you got awakened tonight in class and that you will get your benefit. Cuts to the vital class that night, and Cynthia mentioned to me that she already knew that I got self-awakened and explained that these blessed stones can accelerate your cultivation. Every level B awakener may get 2 each month, but you'll get 2 of them every month since you got self-awakened. Though I think they're good stuff, I have a completely different cultivation method, so they're useless to me. Though Xiang remarks, how's that reward? I didn't lie, right? Suddenly I get a great idea and turn to Xiang and mention, I have a bargain for you, bro. And I learn in and ask him if he wants to hear about it. Moreover, I asked him if he wanted to buy the blessed stones that I just got. Xiang is speechless as he panics and explains that they are controlled by the dragnets and snares in our country, and I will never get any if they find you selling them in private, and 1 blessed stone would save you a whole week of cultivation time, and confirms if I am serious about selling them. Though I remind him, alas, do you think I don't know how precious they are? My little sister and I are orphans, and all our living expenses rely on my stall in the morning before school starts. But Xiao Yu should attend school this year, and I will need a large sum of money then. I explain that they say that you should be focused on your cultivation, but I have no option but to rush about to making a living. My cultivation efficiency is already ruined. Moreover, as a self-awakener, I will get 2 blessed stones every month, so I will get more in the future. Though Xiang takes a deep sigh and says he will help me. Though I smirk and think I nailed this guilt trip, Xiang pulls out his phone and says, now each blessed stone is sold for 100,000 yuan in the black market. Though he remarks how about he uses his connections to get me 120,000 yuan for each. And now I think no wonder the transportation of the blessed stones requires military escort. Millions would be lost if they were robbed. I shake his hand and tell him it's a deal. However, later that night, I started counting the digits on my savings account on the ATM. I shout, I am rich. Now I have a 6-figure savings. However, I started to think about what should I do with the money. However, he has a flashback to show saying, what if we could stay here forever and what if this place were really our home? I decide to call the landlord and ask if the house we're renting if it's still on sale. The scene cuts to the next day where Kung Fu fighting is playing while I am training with the old man. He explains that every warrior should remember that the benevolent has no enemy. However, the old man gets deep in thought and thinks Lu Shu is practicing the sword swings 1,000 times each day. As time goes by, he'll achieve something soon. He turns off the music and says, let's call it a day. Though I say I got a question and I ask him, why does my training start at 3 a.m. every day? Though he explains that's a long story. The roosters at the old man's place used to crow at 3 a.m. back then. But then I asked, why do you play Carl Douglas's Kung Fu, fighting every time I train? That is to get me exposed to art. Lastly, I asked him when I get to practice other sword techniques, but he said sword techniques vary from time to time. A real expert only knows one technique in his heart. I ask when I get to learn one, but the old man laughs at me and asks what I am thinking about. You're only level F, or are you perhaps not a level F? However, I think he is trapping me everywhere to know about my level. So I started swinging the sword fast and explained I am level F and I get it and I would work harder. Then after training, I go home and tell Xiaoyu it is time to get up. Though she is sleepwalking, so I ask her what did she last night. Though she explains that the old man Lai left her 10 linear equations in 2 unknowns as homework. Though I remark, you said it with anger, but you did it all the same, huh? So I tell her to go clean up and I will take her to somewhere cool, and I take her to the shopping mall, but she asks if I did anything that would upset her, as I have never treated me so nicely. As this feels like the last meal together in TV episodes and she tries for me to not leave, I tell her to stop watching those lame TV episodes. I explained that I bought the house and our life would be easier in the future, though she jumps on me and hugs me to death. She asks if I borrowed money from others, and if I really did buy the house, then she would stop eating snacks and we can pay off the debt together and she can help with the morning stall. Though I laugh and tell her that she doesn't need to give up on her snacks, I will take her to see a movie. Though she shouts, "Let's go, come on, great lord, bew bew." Though I think finally we have a home. Cuts to the next day. I shout, "Canine corpse. Follow my order and cut your target," as I point to the top of a chair, though I remark I've mastered the skill to control the sword perfectly. However, Xiaoyu hit me with a hammer twice and said that furniture is not a toy for me to practice my sword skills on. She then says, "Peel 1 more pear, 2 more apples, and 6 more oranges." I say I am on it, but I ask, "How's that? Is that enough? Are you a bit sleepy?" As she always gets sleep when she is full. Though as she yawns and thinks she is sleepy, she suddenly is not sleepy at all. Though I say, according to my experience, you should be about to rack the first layer of your galaxy. And aren't you excited about it? Maybe you can get a new skill like I did. I say maybe a skill that can summon food, and then they will be fully provided. So they both head to sleep, eager to what will happen. Though she says I better not disturb her sleep, got it, but then she instantly regrets her decision as she tries to count sheep but is still sleepless. I say goodnight and sleep tight, and I start to sing a lullaby. My bear baby, mommy's hands are patting you gently. Rock and rock, go to sleep, it's quiet at night and warm in your bed. Good night, sleep tight, my dear baby. Mommy's arms are protecting you firmly. A good night, sleep tight. Everything in the world, and all the warmth is in your bed, and sleep tight, but short ouch as I bump my head on Xiu's math notebook. I wonder when she filled this notebook up, but then suddenly a blackbird grabs the notebook. I wonder, is it an owl, eagle, crow, vulture, sparrow, a bird? Though Xiao groggily says to toss the notebook, I turn back around and see the bird trying to run away with the notebook, so jump after it in the air. But I missed and fell on the floor. Though Xiao shouts, it seems that I cracker the first layer of her galaxy, but I scream, not expecting to see her. Though I say she did that on purpose right since it's midnight. Though I say it's there, the thing on your head, the bird. I ask if is that her superpower. She says that she noticed that there's a black hole in the galaxy, and then she dreamed about this sparrow in her dreams. She says she wanted to call it here, but the black hole sucked it in, and I remark, really? But she says now it is her, but I say that is nice, though it is a pity that it's just a spirit and it's not eatable, says Xiao. Though I say honestly this looks real, so I ask her how many spirits can you suck in? Though she mentions she tried, but that black hole can only suck in one thing. The old one would disappear when there's a new one inside. So I say, for example, since you can command it, then for example, to steal homework away, right? Though she swears no, how is that even possible, right? Though I insist we need to give it a shot and come on. As we head out, Zhao asks where are we going at this late hour, but I smirk and reply, of course we'll go and find you an experimental object to practice spirit capturing. We walk down an alley and Xiao says this place is stinky and creepy. Are you sure that we should be here? It harbors the world's evilest being, I retort, but she repeats the evilest being, a dragon, or the king of the golden horn. Though I promise in any case it's qualified to be an experimental object. As we approach the back door of a place, I tell her to listen up as they're just behind the door, and I ask if she is ready. She gets serious and confirms she is ready. Whoosh, the door opens, and Xiao Yu's eyes widen, and we see several pens on pigs grunting. I remark that looks nice, and there are plenty of them. However, Xiao Yu is not amused and gets angry as she asks if I think this is a good idea. I promise that these pigs will be slaughtered soon anyway, and they are spirits for free, aren't they? As I glance at the mob of pigs and then run away with Xiao Yu, as the pigs try to run us down. Though I say I didn't expect those pigs to be so tough. though one of the pigs is shaking its cake to them, and Zhao Yu is annoyed and says, "Is that pig mocking us by doing that?" I say, "I guess so, but what do you want?" Though she simply says, "What do I want? Can't you read my face?" As she shows killing intent and says, "I want to make that damned pig to have its spirit scattered." Though this scares the pigs, though I insist Zhao Yu let it go, as what will we have if you scatter its spirit? We see a little dead pig lying on grass, and she chooses to capture its spirit. Though ask Zhao Yu why she had to capture this little pig's spirit, she insists that it's cute, but I am not convinced, as it looks like a real pig in every aspect. As the pig fully forms and lays on the floor, I say just one poke and start poking it, but she warns me to not touch it. So naturally, I start slamming my fist up and down, striking it to see how strong it is, but she says, "I told you not to do that." So I slightly cut it with my dagger and say, "It's black. That's not blood," but she screams, "Are you even listening to me?" She pushes me to the ground, telling me to stop it when she went through so much trouble to suck its spirit. As I get shoved to the ground, my corpse dagger flies out of my hand and lands on the cute piggy, and I tell Zhao Yu it's an accident. It is as the poor pig's head lands on her head, and her anger just swells, and she ignores me, so I keep making her eggs with tomatoes and peeling fruit for her. Though the next day, while she is studying with the old man, I ask her, "What on earth can I do to earn your forgiveness, my queen?" However, she insists she will consider forgiving me if I keep making fried tomatoes and eggs in a month, and keep providing me with fruits. I say I will do that, my queen. Our attention cuts to the TV, where we hear a big rumble from the TV. It shows a robbery. It says there was a robbery at the XX Bank conducted by an awakener, and please be alerted, dear citizens. Though I say, wait a second, the robber is an awakener, it cuts to the scene of the crime, and someone from the snares and dragnets says, "Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not one of them. And if you do me a favor and tell your people to evacuate the citizens and leave the other work to the experts," says, to the weak awakeners on the scene that we're helping. They then start dashing down the street in their group of 3, and they announce to each other that the robber is spotted 200 meters ahead, and are they trying to tear down the whole street? As they see an explosion go off, it cuts to the news and the reporter announces the robber is spotted, and the local police say, "You have already been surrounded and give up the resistance now." The robber says, "You're noisy, you cops." He throws a car at them and shouts, "Can you just let me rob the bank in private?" Though the cops say he's so powerful and to run. Though the big guys laugh, "Haha, that's the difference between you and me." As the police are on the ground screaming, "Argh, help me, God, help me, Buddha." Though just in time, one of the men in black punches the car out of the way. The leader tells Cynthia to block them. She throws 3 talismans and they are all aimed at the main suspect, and the first one explodes right in front of his face. Though the scene cuts back to home, where Xiao asks where I am going. Though I insist something's coming this way and I need to go and check on it. Though I say escaping from the snares and making such chaos, I bet he's at least a level D. I think maybe I can get something from him if that's real. I notice how high I can suddenly jump. Though I see their fight and say it's so fierce, I bet I can't survive for 1 minute if I go there directly, as another explosion goes off. So I'd better ride somewhere and keep watching. As Cynthia keeps throwing talismans, the robbers say, "Damn it, it's endless." Though one of them shouts, "Boss and little 3, hide behind my back." He blocks all 5 talismans and also blocks the huge explosion that comes from them. The boss insists we can't be trapped on the bridge and we need to fight back and then go all the way north. A henchman says, "Got it. You 2 step back and leave the rest to me." Though as the 2 other snares approach the fight, the other henchman warns the boss and says, "Then I will kill them here and now." As his boss throws another car and says, "Come on, let's do our best." Though Cynthia uses one of her talismans to fly in the air from one explosion and then creates a circle of 9 talismans. Though as the fight continues, one of the henchmen says, "Craps." Though Cynthia blocks their attack, she gets slightly injured as the spike converges on her and launches her several feet in the air before she falls to the ground against a rock. A snare asks her if she is okay, but she insists, "I won't die shortly." As the boss of the robbers grabs the head of one snare, he starts screaming for help, but the other snare says to leave him alone and I'll give you 2 seconds to release him. Though the boss cracks the head of the snare and says, "Time has changed, and now it's an era for the strong and the weak shall die." Though this triggers the leader of the group and sats, "Damn it, I'll tear you into pieces. Did you hear me? You need to pay for what you did." Though as he attacks, he is just thrown back like a rag doll. The boss blocks an explosion as his henchmen approach him and say, "I'm helping you." And to hold on though, he informs him the cops behind them are dead already and to hurry up, though Cynthia shoots more talismans at them. One henchman says, "Don't be engaged in the fighting and let's go with the money." Though the boss grabs both henchmen by their necks and says, "Thank you for your advice," they shout, "Wait a second, boss. What are you doing?" The bosses use their bodies to completely block the explosion and escape, but the snares say, "Damn it, go after him." Though cuts closer to my house as I see helicopters and think I guess it should be this way, but they are searching this area too. Though around the corner, I almost bump into the boss, but manage to hide around the corner in time. A sword flies at the boss robber, and the snare says, "I plan to catch you alive, but since you killed too many people and according to our rules, you shall die. Be prepared to be punished, robber." Though he says, "Damn it," as he clutches the sword in his chest. Though he mutters, "Looks like I have no choice but to fight in here," as he breaks the wall behind him as he gets up. Suddenly they see me hiding behind the now broken wall. Though the robber thinks, "Damn it, there's another one hiding here." This pisses him off, or shouts, "Damn it, are you kidding me?" as he powers up. Though the snare thinks, "Crap, he is forcing himself to be awakened." A giant explosion is seen from Cynthia's view and says, "Damn it, I'm late. This is going to be tricky." She realizes the robber forced himself to be awakened. Though as I hid in the rubble, I thought he was so tough forcing himself to be awakened. The leader of the snares group says no one will be able to stop him if this continues, and he tells Cynthia to cover him. He says just one more moment as he bites his thumb and makes a hand sign with his other hand. Suddenly, 7 arrows of blood all attack the robber. However, he is confused at first since they don't harm him. Instead, they push the sword fully through his right shoulder. He falls to the ground, grunting. The snare says, "Now quick." As the robber gets up, he sees me hiding in the rubble and thinks, "What the heck?" He charges his fist and shouts, "I'll kill another one if this is my last moment." However, as I see his attack and momentum, I bet he's at least a level C. I also can't dodge this attack. I think, what should I do? I die. However, I instantly think that's wrong as I have a flashback to training. The old man is shouting, "Do you want your enemy to win? Focus on your feet as you stand on the ground and connect your legs with your waist. Connect your waist with your arms. Connect your arms with your strength and make everything under your control." So I think to make it your key to success as I charge up a power in my right fist and think, "Come on, a big one." As I try to match his punch, there is a loud boom as our fists collide. Though Cynthia thinks, "What a strong airflow." Though the leader says, "Damn it, what just happened?" However, he is relieved to see the robber hurt and his whole right arm to be cracking and bleeding. Though the robber screams my hand, "You bastard." Though the snares think, how could he take such an attack with his fists, and he's so strong? They ask for them to tell him who he is and what's his relationship with this robber. Though I panic and think, no way, I'd be exposed if she's after me. I think about my canine corpse, though the leader approaches me and demands I answer. However, as I recall my sword to my hand, he thinks I am a secret level C who can master the sword. He screams to answer me, "Who the heck are you?" Though I jump up and say, "Let's go." But the snare says, "Wait a second." I'm not finished as he runs after me. Though as they scare at the corpse of the robber, they think he could find a fake level AC. I bet he is a real level C. They wonder how can an unidentified level C hide in the city and they need to find him. I rush home and knock on Xiaoyu's door and tell her to get up now and tidy up quickly. As I'm thinking about the robber, not able to survive, I suddenly get a pillow thrown at my face. However, Xiaoyu scolds me to not disturb her sleep if it's not an emergency. Though I say, "Come on, my princess," but she is on alert, asking why we are going out at midnight. I drag her along and say to capture a spirit. I know a good place. But she sleepy mutters it better not be a pig again. I let out a slight yawn. Cuts to a snare and dragnet's meeting. They say it's confirmed a level C awakener. Though a fat man slams his fist on the table and says, "What are we waiting for?" and that he will get him here himself. It cuts back to me and Xiaoyu looking at the black body of the spirit I had her capture. As he is naked, I am a bit startled, but Xiaoyu asks, "What are you yelling at? Haven't you seen a spirit before?" Though I shout, "I didn't help you capture a spirit to satisfy your strange hobby. Get him dressed." But she says, "Wake up. Why would a dead person need clothes?" I say he has to swear something down here. I don't care, but you need to get him dressed. Children are not allowed to see naked people as I cover her eyes. Though she throws me over her head and slams me on the ground. Though she says I know nothing. The most important thing in life is to be happy, she says while laughing. I say, "Let me show you a magic trick I have been working on," and say, "Please watch this, spirit in fashion." Though she punched my left side and knocked me airborne, and I say the most important thing in life is to be happy. She shorts, "Screw your happiness. Take it off now." I insist it's better than being naked at least, though the spirit tears it off anyway. I ask, so, he listens to your orders, huh? She says, right, pretty cool. I mention he seems to have been deprived of his consciousness, and I think he should have kept his memory, right? I ask, how's it going? Can you see it? Though as she is having trouble picturing the memories, I suggest that since you always close your eyes when you experience the galaxy, how about you try closing your eyes? She agrees this is a good idea. She sees his memories and it's all about robbing the bank and escaping. She then sees my punch against him and says, my punch looks pretty cool. Though I say, really, I am Lu Shu after all. But she insists she was kidding, and why do you believe everything? She eyes me picking up the cotton and says, you can stop talking to me if you with that piece of cloth again, so I drop it. Though I say, come on, now that I can't get him dressed, I'll cover his private part for you. Though she agrees, as long as he looks a little bit normal. The spirits continue to help out around the house with his privates out for me to see around every corner, while washing my hands and while eating dinner. So I head out of the house and Xiao Yu tells me to come back soon. Though I think the inexplicable mosaic makes it even weirder. The scene cuts to school where everyone is talking about the Awakener at the Wangcheng Bridge yesterday looking awesome. They say, right, he's said to be a level C. They ask the class monitor what they think of it. He says every ambitious young man must punish traitors and eliminate evils. I ask if there is anything new. I ask Xiang as we walk to class, but he mentions that level C is really powerful. But until now, even the dragnets and snares can't find him. I think this is great. I messed this up, though at least they have no idea who I am. But Xiang then says, a dragnet was sent here from the capital, and maybe he's coming to solve the myth, but it seems that he came to our school first. I wonder why. Though I get nervous and think he's not coming here because of me, is he? Though I think on the rostrum, such an aura field. I only sensed it when I saw Nia Ting. A person walks up the stairs and says everyone stands in line. Xiang wonders who is that person. I saw that he's our new principal and he's going to make a speech. As he walks up to the railing, he taps his feet. The man in the orange shirt starts his speech. Hello everyone. Nice to meet you all. I'm your new principal, Li Yixiao, he says with a smile. Though I think is this powerful presence him? Though quickly the principal's new speech gets off the trail as his notes on his hands are smudged. He gets flustered, flattens his collar and says everyone should work hard. That's it. Dismiss. In horror, the whole school is in deep doubt as to if he is really our principal after that horrible speech.